Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
The pod bay doors are slightly open. Thank you for joining us once again for this mini episode talking about the second episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Joining me, as always, is my intrepid co-host, Jerry Dean Roberts, film critic for ArmchairCinema.com, ArmchairOscars.com, and OverThinkingOscars.wordpress.com. Jerry, what's going on?
Book of Boba Fett, Episode 2, otherwise known as Boba Goes to the Mayor. This was awesome. Oh my god, this is awesome.
Oh, yeah. And just having an Ithorian speak with with the translator that they established in Rebels was really, really cool.
Yeah.
They've never done that live action.
It starts out as the Godfather,
Mm-hmm.
and then it becomes 310 to Yuma, and then it ends with Dune or something. It's just... That's a ride for 45 minutes.
This one was a little bit longer, but yeah, it's they really know how to pack in their cinematic references.
This was kind of a Star Wars-gasm because you're sitting there and, like anything else that these guys do, you know that while you're watching it, the more you know about Star Wars, the more you're gonna know what you're looking at,
and the more you're going to enjoy what you're seeing.
Right, because things come in from other sources because it's such an all-inclusive universe that, and it's so expansive, and there's so many things and so many places and so many sources, and you see something, and it's so expansive that even I missed up. This Black K, this Wookiee that steps out.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know who this was.
Oh, he's a legendary bounty hunter.
Yeah, I did not know who this was. Because they were pointing him out.
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah,
I recognize this guy.
We had to look him up because it was like, okay, I don't know who this is, but the longer you know the history, the further back you go with the history, the more this means to you.
Oh yeah.
When they bring out the Hutts, that's an entrance
on that litter when they were walking up, and the way that
it's bowing.
Yeah, and did you notice the way that they're set up? The female twin has her body out in front and her tail out in front. The guy has his tail snaked around her around the back.
I thought he was around front.
He was around back, and they kind of like
a yin and yang.
Yeah. And I really liked it when you're and you're with the fan. And did you notice when he picked up that something to wipe the sweat off of him? It was like a mouse. Yeah.
It's a rodent.
Yeah. I was like that. I saw that. He started wiping stuff off, and then it cut over to Boba, and then it cut back to him. This was the first time I was watching. I'm like, that's a rodent. That's a living creature.
What's so fascinating, what's so wonderful about this is here I am, watching Star Wars, which is one of my favorite things in the world. And the overtone is The Godfather, which is my favorite movie. So I'm getting double your pleasure, double your fun. I mean, it's wonderful. I love this territoriality, this turf war. It's this building. It's great.
And it's I think that's going to be the most fun when it comes to a head at the end of the season, because you know that's where it's headed.
Right.
Um,
And they build it slowly by doing these two parallel stories, which could
which
clash.
I love. I love the way
I'm
that they're.
interested in both. I'm interested in both, but to be honest with you, I'm more interested in the present story. I do like the backstory. Don't get me wrong, but it's the immediate story that I'm more interested in.
I don't think that the backstory flashbacks will last for too much longer.
No,
Um, they don't seem like they are meant to be a permanent part.
right.
It's just the first
This may
probably
be it.
yeah, the first 2 or 3 episodes we'll probably see that, and then it'll focus on um, everything that's going on now. Just because uh, was John Favreau and Dave Filoni are not really interested in filling in every gap all at
Right,
once. They
right.
like gaps because they like to fill those in later with other fun stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
that's what they enjoy the most. It seems is finding these gaps and then saying we can explain this in a fun way,
Yes.
you know. And
And you watch this, and like I say, I think this is it as far as the flashbacks goes. Because where else do they have to go? Because they established how he rules. They've established that he doesn't just kill. You know, he doesn't earn respect through violence. I
I
mean, they've already established that.
there there's a meme going around that has him going, I Jabba ruled by fear. I want to rule by respect. Fennec turns to him and says, "You shot Bib Fortuna in the face," and it cuts over to him and just after, respectfully.
That was not respectfully.
No, that wasn't in the book. That wasn't in the show either. But I loved that. Uh, you shot Bib Fortuna in the face, respectfully.
He didn't. He didn't. Well, and yeah, and then they send him off on his vision quest,
That was
which that was the most un-Star Wars thing I've seen in a while, but it was still pretty cool.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, he comes back and
When the
basically all
lizard
it
jumps
does,
up his nose.
oh, that's painful, and then jumps back out again.
I love that he's like, oh, I think I swallowed it. I think I did it wrong. Is that okay? What's did I do it wrong? A lizard.
Well,
Thank you.
he comes back and basically he's now one with the tribe, and they put the accoutrements, they put all of the wraps on him.
Oh man, that was.
So where else do they have to go? You know what?
It, you know, the flashbacks aren't probably all going to just be him with the Tuscans. I mean, the
Right.
next step is, how he finds Fennec, how he gets back to his ship, how he, if that is even gone over, which
Mhm.
it doesn't really have to be. We know he's out and we know he has friends, so now we know he can get and do what he wants
And
where
we
he
know he
wants.
and we know he's got scores to settle.
Right. So there may not be anything else, or there may be one
Yeah.
more to just kind of get him out to where we finally find him. Um, but I really like how I like how they've updated and changed the armor without changing the armor. Um,
Right.
all they did was put black underneath it and clean it,
Yeah.
and it looks better than it ever has.
Right.
It just look it. He threw a fresh coat of paint on it, and that black contrasting out of it makes it look really really awesome.
Yeah. And by the way, I love their interpretation of the Ithorian. This Ithorian looks just brilliant. I love that. I love that scene. Um, Again, last time we were talking about the translator. Some of them use it, some of them don't, and some of them actually speak English. Doc Strassi actually spoke English.
Mm-hmm.
The forget his name, the mayor actually uses a translator.
Malk something.
Mock Shake, Mock
Something like
Shake,
that.
something.
Shake. Something like that, yeah.
And but he uses a translator, and some of them don't use a translator at all. Some of them just are R2D2. They just,
The
everybody just
Ithorian.
knows what they're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very strange. I don't quite understand I don't quite understand how it works, because in the original trilogy you just understood everybody.
Well,
You know,
in the years since, they've tried to explain how people
right?
understood everybody. Uh, there were the protocol droids. Some people knew a whole bunch of different languages, like
Mm,
Han. Han can speak like 30 languages.
right.
Um, and Boba Fett knows a few, and Din Djarin knows a handful of languages, and you know, it's those that are linguistically talented can get along really, really well out in that
Mm,
galaxy. Um,
yeah,
Otherwise, you have to find beings who can speak basic, or walk around with a C-3PO all the time,
right.
and nobody
Yes,
wants that.
what he says in the first episode, we really need a protocol droid.
Yeah, yeah. I love that 8D8 is Matt Berry. I just want to say that
Yeah.
right now. Matt Berry is one of the funniest actors working today. I've loved him since the IT Crowd. He's on What We Do in the Shadows as Laszlo, and he's
Mm,
amazing on that show. And I just love that he's in this now too,
mm.
uh,
It's a
even as
very
briefly
limited
as he
role,
is.
but
Yeah, but he's
and
very
and it
funny in it. He's just, sir, I don't think that he's not going to tell you anything. Oh, how about the Rancor? It's
it's
empty, you
empty.
idiot.
I think it's interesting. I love the details in this. The fact that the switch to open that is a Rancor head.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cast iron Rancor head. I love those little details. I love that stuff. But this was a lot meatier than the first episode, and people had problems with the first episode. I heard from people who just
Really?
had a lot of problems with it, and I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, I, I didn't,
I didn't. I.
but yeah,
Let's be honest though. We're not exactly objective when we're watching things Star Wars.
right,
Um,
right. Unless
we,
it just turns out to be just completely stupid, we're not. I mean,
and
we can
even
nitpick,
even
but
then, I'll end up finding some benefits out of
the fine, oh, yeah,
it. I'll find it ironically funny or something like that.
yeah.
I'll
You'll
find a
work
way
it
to.
through.
Yeah, I'll find a way to like it.
You'll
Um,
find a way to enjoy it. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
we
pretty much all
we
I
still
got.
we still watch the prequels, even though we don't really like them all that much.
I haven't seen the prequels, and I actually haven't seen the prequels since we did an episode on them.
Hmm.
Because there's just so much other Star Wars stuff that I can
Now
see.
there is, yeah, yeah. There wasn't
Did you
before.
notice that the vintage stuff is now on Disney Plus?
Hmm.
Wow, some of that stuff is terrible.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that Ewok show has the
The
worst theme song I've ever
oh,
heard in my life.
and it's it's barely more than Care Bears. Uh,
Yeah, that theme song, somebody wrote that on a napkin during lunch. You know?
a 3 martini lunch.
Oh, okay, you got that theme song we asked for? Oh, shit. Just let me
We're
run to
the
the restroom real
Ewoks.
quick.
We're the Ewoks. We're the Ewoks.
Ewoks.
Ewoks. Done.
Let me run to the restroom real quick.
I have it. It's another blow it in the wind.
Why did you write it on toilet paper? Oh, inspiration comes to me when I can find it.
Inspiration strikes where it strikes, man.
Strikes where it strikes, my friend. Yes.
Yeah.
I tried to watch the TV movies. I was like, I can't.
I watched the first one. I'll eventually get back to the second one, the Battle for Endor, but oh man.
They're rough.
They are very difficult to watch because there's no sense of when they're set.
No.
Except
they're
Wicket's in it, so it has to be after Return of the Jedi because he was too little to otherwise.
The Ewok series is set during A New Hope. The Ewok movies are set after Return of the Jedi. Not that it matters, but I actually thought Droids was a much better series, but
Droids was a better series, but it's still not all that good.
Still not all that good. Did you notice they stuck the Boba Fett cartoon on the thing, but they didn't put the holiday special on it?
Would you?
No. I wouldn't even have put that on there.
They're kind of proud of that. They actually think that was a good first effort. And it is the first appearance of Boba Fett, so they want to have that front and center.
The faithful Wookiee.
Hello, friend. Come with me, friend.
We sat there for an afternoon to watch some of that stuff. I was like, okay, this is terrible.
It's kind of a marvel that any of this stuff survived after that ancillary post-original trilogy stuff hit.
Yeah. Well, there wasn't much.
No, but what was there wasn't good.
Yeah.
But I think that wraps everything up here for us. You can find all of our back episodes, including our minis, at the podbaydoorspodcast.wordpress.com. You can listen to said episodes and minis also on iTunes and YouTube. Hit the like, subscribe, and notifications buttons. You can find us on Twitter and Patreon at pod_bay. We thank you so very much for listening, and the Pod Bay doors are now closed.
The mission has been completed.